At 11:47 p.m. Eastern Time, every traffic light in Manhattan went dark. At 11:52, the power grid feeding half of California collapsed. At exactly midnight, the Pentagon's communication systems fell silent. America was under attack, but no bombs were falling, no soldiers were marching. The enemy was invisible, untouchable, striking from thousands of miles away through fiber optic cables and satellite signals. In a bunker beneath Washington, D.C., the nation's best cyber warfare specialists stared at their screens in defeat until someone remembered the name of a man they'd cast aside 3 years ago, a man they'd called Broken. Welcome to Warriors, where we honor the stories of invisible heroes. Before diving into this digital warfare epic, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from around the world. And if you believe stories like this need to be told, subscribe and help us honor the silent heroes. 3 years ago, Marcus Chen was the Pentagon's most feared cyber warrior. His hands moved across keyboards with surgical precision. He could slip into enemy networks like a ghost, leaving behind codes that would rot their systems from within. At Fort Gordon, his name was legend. That night was supposed to be routine, too. Infiltrate a foreign intelligence network, extract data, get out. Marcus had done it hundreds of times, but this time was different. What he found in the enemy system was a coordinated cyber attack plan against America. Power grids, airports, financial centers, everything was targeted, and the attack would begin in 72 hours. Marcus had two choices: report it and get lost in the slow wheels of bureaucracy, or take action. He chose action. For 18 hours he worked alone. He rewrote enemy codes, turned their weapons against themselves. When the attack launched, enemy systems destroyed themselves. America was saved, and Marcus was court-martialed for it. Sergeant Chen acted without authorization, said Prosecutor General Hayes in the courtroom. Technical ability doesn't put him above discipline. Such soldiers harm the military. Marcus listened silently. When asked, "Why did you act without authorization?" his only answer was, "Because it was necessary." The panel was unimpressed. Marcus lost his rank, was dishonorably discharged, banned from all future government positions. 2 weeks later, driving home from a job interview, a truck hit him. The driver fled, was never found. Marcus was paralyzed from the waist down. In 1 month, he'd gone from America's most valuable cyber warrior to a disabled veteran society forgot. The next 3 years passed on the margins: disability checks, small coding jobs, long hours at Jerry's Diner with free Wi-Fi. Marcus retreated into the digital world, built anonymous networks, occasionally slipped into systems that reminded him who he used to be. The young programmers at the diner barely noticed him. To them, he was just an old man left behind by technology. They'd nod politely, but never talked. Marcus preferred it that way. Invisibility was his protection. On November 15th night, that protection would shatter. At 11:15 p.m., the Boston traffic system malfunctioned. At 11:23, a Phoenix power outage. At 11:31, Denver air traffic control went silent. Marcus was working at the diner when his passive monitoring systems detected anomalies, irregularities in normal network traffic. Most would call it random fluctuation, but Marcus didn't believe in random. Every system had a rhythm, like a heartbeat. America's infrastructure was having arrhythmia. At 11:47, every traffic light in Manhattan went dark. Marcus watched reports flood in from social media, news feeds. This wasn't random failure. This was orchestrated chaos. By midnight, the situation was clear. Power grids were collapsing nationwide. Financial networks were virus-infected. Military communication had turned to encrypted noise. America was under siege. The enemy was winning without firing a shot. In the Pentagon's Cyber Warfare Center, Colonel Sarah Mitchell watched monitors in desperation. Red alerts flowed faster than her team could process. "Status," she demanded. "Power failures in 12 states," said Lieutenant Torres. "Financial networks collapsed. Billions in random transactions being executed." "Counterattack." "Sir, we can't even find the enemy." "Every trace leads to another corrupted system. We're fighting shadows." General Hayes entered the bunker. The same woman who'd prosecuted Marcus was now seeing the consequences of removing him from the field. "Options?" Hayes asked sharply. "Limited, sir. The enemy's already inside. They know our networks, found our weaknesses. We're not fighting an invasion. We're fighting an occupation. External experts. Everyone's either under attack or trying to save their own clients." The room fell silent. America was losing an invisible war. Then young analyst Chen spoke from the back. "Sir, there's an option we haven't considered." "Explain," said Hayes. 3 years ago, Sergeant Marcus Chen prevented a similar attack. He infiltrated enemy systems and turned their weapons around. With that kind of experience? "Chen was court-martialed," Hayes interrupted, "banned from cyber operations." "Yes, sir, but not from protecting his country." Hayes's face changed. Marcus Chen, the man who saved America and was destroyed for it. His techniques were still taught, always with protocol violation warnings. "We don't know where he is," said Mitchell. "Chen disappeared after discharge." "Actually, sir," said the young analyst, "I think I can find him." 20 minutes later, a black SUV pulled up to Jerry's diner. General Hayes got out with her tablet, experiencing open desperation. Inside, Marcus was monitoring the attack. His personal systems gave a clearer picture than Pentagon's. He could see the elegance of the enemy strategy, how each attack supported others, creating cascading collapse. It was terrifyingly beautiful. Whoever designed this understood technical vulnerabilities and psychological impact. They weren't just attacking infrastructure, but America's confidence in technological superiority. Marcus continued his analysis until the military vehicle arrived. Hayes spotted him immediately, the man in the wheelchair, surrounded by laptops working with electric intensity. She approached like approaching a wild animal. "Sergeant Chen?" Marcus looked up, stopping for the first time in hours. He recognized her, aged, tired, but still carrying the stern authority that destroyed his career. "General Hayes," he said quietly. "It's Marcus now. Lost the rank, remember?" Hayes sat across from him. "We need your help." Marcus laughed bitterly. 3 years ago you called me dangerous in court, said I was untrustworthy. Now you want help? The country's under attack, the kind you prevented. How's the official response going? The one that's proper and legal? Hayes looked around at the chaos on TV, Manhattan traffic disaster, spreading blackouts. When she turned back, her face had changed. "We're losing," she admitted. "Our best people, most advanced systems, none of it works against an enemy who thinks like you." "Like I used to think," Marcus corrected. "That was someone else, someone who believed his country would have his back." "You were right," Hayes said quietly. 3 years ago, you were right to act without authorization. You saved millions of lives. We punished you. I punished you." Marcus was shocked. In all his imagined scenarios, he never expected an apology. Hayes continued. "The attack you're monitoring might be the same group. They've had 3 years to prepare, study our defenses. They know our capabilities." All except one thing, said Marcus. What's that? They think I'm broken. Marcus turned his screen to Hayes. Complex network diagram. Not American systems, but enemy command structure. I've been tracking them for 6 hours, he said. Same architecture, but evolved. More sophisticated, more resilient. They learned from failure. Can you stop them? The question isn't whether I can stop them. The question is what you'll risk for it. Marcus opened another screen. Codes Hayes couldn't understand, but felt were dangerous. To beat this attack, I need to do exactly what I did 3 years ago. Infiltrate foreign systems, rewrite codes, turn weapons around, without authorization, against laws, everything you court-martialed me for. After long silence, Hayes spoke. If you do this and it works, what happens after? After doesn't matter, said Marcus. What matters is whether America exists when the sun rises. Hayes pulled out papers. Presidential authorization, emergency cyber operations, signed 20 minutes ago, gives you unlimited access and legal immunity. Marcus looked at the document, but didn't touch it. 3 years too late. Better late than never. Marcus looked at screens showing America under siege, at the woman who destroyed his life, then at his hands, still steady, still capable. I need NSA quantum system access, he said, and nobody interferes. No oversight, no reports, no questions. Done. And General? Yes? When this is over, we're even. Nobody owes anybody anything. We go back to ignoring each other. Hayes nodded. Understood. Marcus started packing. Then let's go save the world. The NSA Quantum Center was a cathedral of technology. Servers humming in perfect harmony, fiber cables carrying light-speed conversations, machines processing information faster than human minds could comprehend. Marcus sat at the center, surrounded by workstations giving him access to America's entire digital arsenal. For the first time in 3 years, he felt like himself. Time to work, he murmured. His hands began dancing across keyboards. The enemy had evolved, but so had Marcus. 3 years of exile had given him time to think, develop new techniques. He wasn't fighting with rules anymore, but with the desperation of someone who'd lost everything. He slipped into enemy networks like smoke. He circled around strong defenses. He weakened weak systems further. Everywhere he went, he left behind code fragments ready for use. The battle lasted 6 hours. Not traditional warfare's explosions, but a silent dance of algorithm against algorithm, strategy against strategy, mind against mind. When it ended, America's infrastructure came alive. Power grids stabilized, financial networks returned to normal, military communications cleared. Enemy systems consumed themselves in recursive error loops. Marcus closed the final connection, leaned back. Quantum servers continued working, but the crisis was over. Hayes approached. Is it finished? For now, said Marcus. They'll be back eventually. Different methods. But not tonight. The president wants to thank you. There'll be medals. Marcus laughed, started shutting down systems. Keep them. I didn't do this for recognition. Then why? Marcus paused. Outside, Washington's lights shone steady, a city that came hours from digital darkness. Because sometimes being broken doesn't mean being useless. Sometimes it just means you understand the value of things that still work. He moved toward the exit, leaving behind quantum computers, officials, and the weight of another secret mission that would never wake headlines. In the parking lot, Marcus loaded his equipment into a modified van, drove back to Jerry's diner. Tomorrow, he'd be invisible again. Just another disabled veteran in a wheelchair, doing freelance work, drinking $3 coffee. But tonight, He'd been exactly what his country needed. A ghost in the machine. A warrior fighting battles no one else could see. Sometimes the greatest victories are ones nobody knows happened. Sometimes the greatest heroes are ones nobody remembers. And sometimes being called broken is just another way of saying you survived things that would destroy everyone else. The man they cast aside had saved them all. Tomorrow they'd go back to forgetting he existed. This story was brought to you by Warriors. Our question for you: have you ever known someone underestimated because of their limitations, only to prove they were stronger than anyone imagined? Share in the comments what they meant to you. If you think stories like this need to be told, subscribe. We believe the most important battles are often fought by people the world has written off. Thanks for being part of our community. See you in the next story.